Now we saw the dihybrid cross. But what is the mechanism of this heredity? How is it that the traits are passed on from parents to offspring so easily? What carries them? As we know that their DNA contains genes, and these genes carry the hereditary characters from parents to offspring. But what is the mechanism? The mechanism is simple. DNA is synthesizing proteins. The DNA is involved in synthesizing proteins, and each protein or one protein which is synthesizes is called as gene. So these genes are responsible for passing on the genetic character from parents to offspring. Now these traits or the characters which are present in genes, how are they transferred from parents to offspring? What helps them to grow? Now suppose I take the length of the plant or the tallness of the plant. Now this tallness of the plant is dependent on, it is dependent on the hormone. Any trait, any characteristic feature, if I take of plant or animal, it is depending on the hormones released. Now these, what are hormones? Hormones are the chemicals which are released in the body of any organism so that the proper growth is taking place. But are these hormones dependent on someone else? Yes. Hormones, to regular secretion of the hormones from the glands, it is very important that enzymes should work properly or efficiently. So hormones now depend on enzymes. Now what are enzymes? Actually enzymes are the chemicals which are released. They do not take part directly in any chemical reaction, but they can improve the rate of reaction. They can make the hormone work, but itself it will not take part in the reaction. So if the enzyme is very efficient enzyme will produce proper amount of hormone. Inefficient enzyme will not produce proper amount of hormone. I took the example of tallness of plant. If the tallness of plant is dependent on the auxins or the gibberellins, that means these hormones are important. Now these hormones are important if the enzymes which are actually helping them to release are efficient enzymes. When enzymes are efficient, the hormones are released in a proper way and the plant grows as tall as it can be. But if the enzyme is insufficient or inefficient, what will happen? Inefficiency will not result in proper amount of hormone to be released. When there is no proper amount of hormone, the stunted growth or the less growth of the plant will be seen. So this is how the characters or the traits are dependent on the hormones. Hormones in turn are dependent on the enzyme. Inefficient enzyme, inefficient release of hormone. No proper characteristic feature will be seen. And efficient enzyme will produce proper amount of hormone which will help in the proper release of hormone and the proper growth will be seen. Now what is happening in sexual reproduction? Sexual reproduction involves male and female. That means male is giving a gamete, female is giving a gamete. Two gametes are carrying the characteristic features and then they are crossing over. When the crossing over takes place with the two parents, obviously there is a crossing over which is going to create new recombinations, and that is called as variations. As we saw, there are some parental combinations which can be seen as in us also, but there are some recombinations also which can grow into a new type of traits in them. Those traits might be present in the parent, but those traits might be in the recessive form in parents, and those traits have passed on to the offspring in a dominant character, and they can be seen much better than the parent characters. So it is all the game of recombination where the new type of gametes are formed. Now when male and female gametes are fusing, that means from male one gamete is coming out carrying two chromosomes. In human beings it carries two chromosomes. So one X and one Y in male and XX in female. So in the same way in plants also it carries two sets of chromosomes. As I said, I have written RR and YY. Why RR? Because one DNA will carry two genetic matters or two chromosomes. So DNA is not one complete spiral structure, it is a pieces of structure, that those pieces are called as genes, and these genes carry the hereditary character which get crossed over. The point at which it gets crossed over, it carries the chromosomes which has to go into the offspring, and this is how the one chromosome and the other chromosomes get interlocked or crossed, and it restores the number of chromosomes in the offspring. We are going to study again this in the case of how the sex determination takes place in human beings. Now human beings have 23 pairs of chromosomes. You all know human beings have 23 pairs of chromosomes. Out of this 23 pairs of chromosomes, 22 pairs are called as autosomes, and one pair is called as sex chromosomes. That means determining the gamete, whether it contains X chromosome or Y chromosomes. What's happening in each human being? There are 23 pairs of chromosomes, that is 46. Out of 46 chromosomes, the male is giving 23 chromosomes, the female is giving 23 chromosomes, and this is how in the offspring or the child it gets 46 chromosomes back. This is how the crossing over takes place. The 22 pairs are called as autosomes, which are not involved with reproduction, and one pair is called sex chromosomes, which is involved in the reproduction or which is involved in the determination of the sex of the child. Now what is happening in this one pair of chromosomes? Male have two types of chromosomes, one X and one Y. So X is longer and Y is shorter. Two types of chromosomes male carries, X or Y. When it has to cross over, only one, either X or either Y, will cross over with the female. Both the chromosomes do not pass on, because as I said, 23 out of 46, 23 are given by male, 23 are given by female, and female carries both X chromosomes. So when the crossover takes place, X chromosome from female is invariably there. That means any one chromosome comes, it is going to be X, as both are identical here. But Y chromosomes or X chromosomes from male. Now here, if male is giving one of the chromosomes, if it is giving X, it combines with X of female, and here X of male, this becomes a girl child. X from female, which is already there because female carries only X chromosomes and male carries X and Y chromosome. X chromosome from male combines with X chromosomes of female, it will form a girl child, and X chromosomes from female plus Y chromosomes from male, it forms a male child. This is how the determination of sex is happening inside the body. Female carries two sets of chromosomes, X and X, and male carries two types of chromosomes, X and Y. In that, X is longer than Y. Here both are of same size. Now when the crossing over takes place, when the fusion of two gametes take place, now male gamete sperm and female gamete ova. Sperm will carry only either X or Y, not both, because it is a one cell. One cell will carry one type of chromosome. So male gamete sperm will carry either X or Y, and egg will be having X only because both are X. If X from female and X from male is fusing and it is forming a fetus, it will be a girl child. And if X from female and Y from male is fusing, it forms a male child, which is X and Y. This is how the sex determination in humans is done, and it is very easy to understand that when we understand the scientific reason, it is the male who is responsible for the determination of the sex of the child, not the female. Here in human beings, females are not responsible for the sex of the child, only males are responsible for the sex of the child. This is in human beings. There is a small interesting to know box in your book in which says that there are some amphibians, there are some fishes where the set of chromosomes are just opposite. In some fishes, some reptiles, the female carries XY and male carries XX. That's something apart, because we are talking about human beings where how the determination of sex can be done. But out of curiosity, if you want to know, there is some amphibians, some fishes which have male carrying XY chromosome and female carrying XY chromosome and male carrying XX chromosome. But that's very rare. It is found in some type of animals only. Here we are bothered about how the sex determination in the human beings can take place.